There's one thing that you're doing in your marriage that probably is killing it more than anything else. And it's not infidelity, it's not about the bills. There's one specific thing. And some men do this once in a while, some men do this all the time. And we're going to talk about exactly what it is and why it's such a detriment to your relationship in this video. If you're new here, my name is Dr. John DeBach. I am a couples counselor. I'm also a relationship coach. Been doing that for nearly a decade and a half. I've grown over 1 million followers in the last year without spending a buck on ads, just because I tell the truth about what the male-female dynamic really is. After watching myself and others do it with thousands upon thousands of people in their practice. Been on national TV, published author, but the most important thing that I can tell you about my qualifications is that I am a proud father of 4 and married to the woman of my dreams for 15 years now. She's a psychologist, and I walk the walk, I talk the talk. I actually live everything that I preach, as opposed to some other people online, without naming names, who aren't married or, are 3 times divorced or something like that. So take everything you say online as education. Don't take it as therapeutic advice, even if it is from me. But use your judgment where you're wise. So what am I talking about when it comes to the thing that actually kills your relationship? And this is specifically with men. It does apply to women as well, but specifically with men, it's being negative. Negativity is a killer of relationships. And it doesn't have to be negativity just about the relationship. Negativity about your work, negativity about your family or her family, about parenting, about your social circle. If you have problems in your community with your synagogue, your church, whatever, if that negativity is very hard to handle. And I'll make another video about this one day, but I kind of have this 90-10 law that I've noticed with my couples. If you're not codependent, which I hope you're not, right? If you're not codependent, people want to hear what's wrong with you, but only about 10%. So if you have, 100 problems in your life, you don't like the way you look, you don't like the situation at work, you're having a problem with this child, your partner wants to hear some of that, because if you walk around saying, hey, everything's great, everything's just peaches and cream, but secretly inside you have issues, and then she finds out that you're talking to your friends about the issues, or that you're, talking to your therapist, but you're boxing her out, that feels very isolating. So she wants to hear some of the problems, but only 10%. At most, right? And that's kind of the makeup of what a healthy relationship is. It's 90-10. 90% of your stuff you take care of on your own. You're an adult, right? You have other people who can help you. You have other resources. You should learn to self-soothe. And so if you walk around without an inner monologue where you just say, oh, the kitchen's dirty again, right? That negativity, that's like being married to Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. Nobody wants to be married to Eeyore. And the reason it's so detrimental for men is because at the end of the day, if you want to have that masculine polarity in your relationship where you are the one who feels desired by desiring, I know that sounds a little weird, but the way men get desire from their wife is by showing their women that they're desired. And women love being desired, right? And so they open up and they want you more because they want that feeling. So it's this kind of cyclical relationship. If you want to do that, if you want to have that sense of, I won't call it a power dynamic, but that relational dynamic where you are the man and she is the woman and she feels desired and you know that you have her in the palm of your hand to a certain extent, right? Obviously within respect. If you want that, you have to be the leader in the relationship. And leaders who are negative don't get anything done. If all you're doing is getting mired in the negativity of what's going on in your life, nothing happens. You don't change anything. Every time someone goes on a diet, I'm going to use this as an analogy. They don't sit there and say, well, I'm going to eat well and I won't eat carbs and maybe I'll try keto, but it's not going to work. You know how long that diet lasts? 2 days, right? That it doesn't last at all. But if you say, I'm going to go on a diet, I'm going to do this for a month, I know it's going to work, right? That positive thinking pushes you to try harder. Is it sometimes overreaching? Yeah, of course. When people spend money on advertising for their business, they're not sure it's going to work. They're hopeful. But if you go into it saying, this will never work, then you don't handle the leads coming in the right way. Every time a customer returns something or complains, there's an issue. So it's a nightmare. So negativity really is this huge problem. And let's think about what negativity really is on a psychological level. It's low-grade depression when it's kind of on the surface. Like, if you're just a negative person walking around going, kitchen's dirty, my job sucks, what are you going to do? Jobs suck. It's, that's life. I don't understand how I'm ever going to get ahead. You have low grade to possibly encroaching on severe depression. And the truth is your wife isn't responsible to handle that. And you need to figure out how to get yourself out of that funk. You don't have to do it alone, but you can't task her with it. And so what are you supposed to do? You get your therapist, you go exercise. I mean, a lot of studies have shown that exercise is, in a lot of people, not everybody, but in a lot of people, it's as, if not more effective than SSRI medication. Some people really do need SSRIs, though. I don't want to say don't take, Lexapro or Wellbutrin. If you need it, it's there for a reason, right? Don't take on destructive habits. Don't box her out. Don't just disappear into video games or a cigar lounge with your friends, or, go exercise for 6 hours and then come home and go to bed. Don't drink, right? I mean, there's things you shouldn't be doing to deal with your negativity. And there's things that are very productive. Learning psychological skills, how to break the pattern, examining where you are in life, isolating where the negative traps are in your life. Is it work? Is it your social circle? Is it finances, the way you deal with family? Is it philosophical differences you have with your community or your wife or your children? Right? There's lots of different things. Are you feeling overwhelmed with the housework or the way your life hasn't turned out? Your expectations versus your reality are two separate. You have to isolate where the things that aren't meeting those expectations in your life, where are they broken? And to do that, unless your wife is a therapist or a life coach or someone who knows how to dissect that, she's going to be out of her depth, and she's not expecting to be that way. And so that sense of negativity, I'm going to be honest with you, that's your job to correct, and only you can do it. And until you take that on as a real thing that you have to handle, you're never going to get anywhere with your marriage. Negative people have negative lives. Now, it's easier said than done. Everybody has a hard day. And where's the balance? This is something we have to talk about. Where's the balance of complaining with my wife and sharing and actually taking care of this without bothering her? And I told you the 90-10 rule, but I'm going to give you another really good framework here for you. If you have something and you want to vent and you want to just complain to let your wife in because she needs to know where you're at, make an announcement, right? I'm not saying stand in the middle of the living room and say, I would like to be negative for a second, but you pull her aside and you say, hey, I'm really struggling with something. Can I talk to you for a little bit? You're announcing what the point of the conversation is. And then if you don't want advice, you just want to vent, tell her, I'm not looking for advice. I'm not coming to you to solve the problem. There's just a lot of weight on my shoulders. I need to share and let you know what's going on. I mean, if you tell that to a woman, a few things happen. First of all, it's almost a feminine way to start a conversation. Most men don't start that, where they put all their cards on the table. They're being completely vulnerable. That's unique, right? It probably for a lot of you. So right away, she'll be like, what's going on? And the second thing that it does is it gives her a job she knows how to do. Most women, when they're little girls, they build relationships with their friends by connecting in this way. And so as you open up and all she has to do is listen and empathize and not provide solutions and just say, oh, that sounds so tough, and you say, thanks, that was helpful to get it off my chest, she feels confident. She feels like she has a role in the relationship, and she feels like she understands what's going on inside your head. And so the next time you don't initiate, even physically, let's say, with her, she doesn't immediately think, oh, he's not attracted to me. She's going to think maybe something's bothering him with work, and she'll reach out to you. And she'll say, hey, is everything okay? Like, I'm wearing my nice dress and you didn't say anything. Are you still having problems at work? that empathy is going to be like a warm blanket for you. Letting your wife in on a little bit at a specific time where you tell her you don't need her to solve problems. You just need to listen and get things off your chest. That is like relationship gold. As long as it's done in a controlled setting. If she's in the middle of doing, housework or work at home, and let's say she's a career woman as well and she's working from home and she's writing 17 emails, that's not the time. That's not the time to go up to her and say, I'm really struggling at work. I want to talk to you. She says, well, I'm writing an email. Not now, right? That you have to, everything is timing in life. You have to go up to her and say, listen, I'm struggling with something, right? And we have to do it. We have to have a talk about it. And I need you. I need you to listen. I need my wife to be there for me. When's a good time? And she might say, I don't know. I'd say, okay, I'll check back with you later. But most of the time, you won't get the I don't know. Most of the time, you're going to get, how about after the kids go down? Or how about, tonight at 8, right? And then you just put an alarm on your phone, a little reminder, and you have that conversation. And the truth is, they're usually not that long. Sometimes they're 20, 30 minutes. Sometimes they're an hour. But an hour out of your entire day, and usually you only have these like once every few days or once a week at most, unless you're really going through a tough spot, that's more than enough. I mean, when we see clients, in the therapeutic setting, what happens? You see them once a week. And that's more than enough for most people. Some people you see more than that, right? So you have to learn how to contain it and announce it so that they understand what the situation is. Because a lot of times if you go to your wife and you say, financially, I'm really stressed, they worry, are we okay? Are we okay? So you have to say, listen, I'm stressed. I know everything's going to work out, right? Because the truth is that you're not going to end up on the streets. Right? If you have enough wherewithal to be watching a YouTube video and you live in America and you know how to speak 2 words, you can get a job at a grocery. You can figure it out. You're not going to end up, you might not have the same big house. You might have to move, you might have to downgrade, but you'll survive. Everything's going to be okay. And so that attitude of everything's going to be okay and life is great, that's the attraction. That's what makes you a leader. Is knowing that it might get uncomfortable, but we're never going to be on the streets. No matter what, we'll have each other. Those 2 things, boom, that fuels positivity and it fuels attraction. Don't let go of those 2 things and don't let negativity make you forget either of those. And you're going to be light years ahead of pretty much every husband out there. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.